In the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, nearly everything is tied to the mining or forestry industries. This includes the railroad, which focus on moving these important industries throughout the peninsula. Canadian National's Manistique subdivision running from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and the Marquette Range subdivision will be the focus of today's video. Before the days of the Wisconsin Central, the Soo Line and C&W were the major railroads in the UP. So when the Soo Line was bought out by Canadian Pacific and the C&W by Union Pacific, all the track they owned in the UP was sold off to the Wisconsin Central. Today's CN owns it all, but trains now to take extra routes to get where they need to go. In Escanaba, there is a Y where the CN splits into the Manistique sub and the Marquette Range sub. The 285-mile ride as the crow flies will take the freight on a ride through some of the most beautiful and breathtaking scenery Michigan's Upper Peninsula has to offer. This is Pure Upper Michigan Trains presented by the Manistique Lake Rail Series. In Gladstone, Canadian National's yard is the hub for most of the trains in this program. The yard is only 12 tracks including the main line, and on this sunny day, CN 5449, a EMD ST60, is coaxed into movement by the engineer. They are departing Gladstone and are heading timetable south on what was Soo Line rails. At Lake Bluff, we see them gaining speed as they pass the camera. Minutes later, the train goes over this truss bridge, which was built in 1901 for the Soo Line Railroad. The train will take a giant circle on Escanaba to get going north on the right rails. The Escanaba ore dock was a major ore dock for the C&W and later Wisconsin Central. The dock closed in 2017 after nearly 165 years of service when the Empire Mine shut down. The Empire Mine started out in the late 1800s, and now the Tilden Mine is last operating in the UP. Although we can no longer see the dock, we can see A450 pass the camera as it goes to Green Bay. The lead locomotive, 2326, is a General Electric Evolution Series locomotive. To the left is an abandoned golf course which is only protected by a fence. The track speed is 40 miles an hour here, and the crews generally take advantage of that. This shot gives us a clear straight view of the train as it gets closer to the camera. At the diamond next to the ELS car shops in North 30th Street crossing, we catch a local pounding the diamond with two EMD ST60s in the lead and a couple of cars. Back at Gladstone, we catch the same local as it heads into the yard. Most trains that are not a local will use whatever 6-axle locomotives they have sitting around at the yard. SD60s are on most trains, but we do see some other 6-axle locomotives on trains such as the SD75I, C44-9W, SD70M-2, and any GE Evolution Series locomotives. Meat paper is a very important business in Gladstone as it supplies good jobs with good pay for many people. Locals that go to meat paper will normally use a pair of 4-axle locomotives. Other side of the yard, we see a train coupling to its cars for its journey to the Soo. On this overcast day, we catch CML 543 in Masonville. Rapid River, we catch CN 5624, Electromotive Division ST70I. This locomotive was built in October 1995, with CN being the only purchaser of the ST70I with 26 units. At a different crossing in Rapid River, we catch the same train. Mother Nature gives us a cool summer breeze with the forest in the background and tall grass in the foreground for this beautiful shot. Our final clip from Gladstone is CN A450 leaving Lake Bluff Road. We have 3 engines on this train with most of the trains still in the yard.
tires. Imagine it takes to pull all that, eh? 92 tires. Unreal.
At M69, CN SD70M-2 8943 blows its horn past this crossing. The crossing has mechanical bells, but a couple months later, and the crossing was replaced with a new one. In Powers, we catch two SD60s leading a train. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please give them to me in the comments section below. Michigan's Upper Peninsula gave us some good trains with its majestic scenery, and I thank you for watching.